Episode 187 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our supporters. If you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/thewilderness-podcast. So I want to welcome Jake the Snake and MILF Tower for joining the Patreon club this week. And of course, every episode is dedicated to one of our Kingpin, Queenpin tier supporters. So episode 187 is dedicated to X-Ax. And of course, every episode of the Wilderness Podcast is dedicated to our Godfathers and Godmother tier of supporters. So Gentinu, Splemo, Dreadful Monkeys, Sejuan, Mallard, Twisted Soul, Hoyt, J Blaz, Z-Space, Strosity. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. But you know what? If Patreon is not your thing, you can head on over to buymeacoffee.com/Dilz, where you can buy me a coffee. Oh my god, I didn't even realize. So I learned this week that you can actually leave some comments on our buymeacoffee.com, which a bunch of people have done. So guys, I'm so sorry for not seeing this. What a clunky interface. Why is that so hard to see? So anyways, we'll get into those probably at our break. But thank you so much to Mr. Ted's, who bought me a coffee this week. And he says, for the baby's college fund. Not actually. Oh boy, guys, we get into a little bit of Magic the Gathering talk because it's been kind of popping off in the CC. And I'm only bringing up, one, you've been warned. It's been a slow week for RuneScape. So if you're not into the Magic talk, just be ready. And also, baby's college fund is no longer happening because I have been getting into Magic. So they call it cardboard crack for a reason, right? Yeah, guys, thank you so much for the support. Let's get on in to the episode. Welcome to episode 187 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dilz, and joining with me today is Heartless.
Hey, Dilz, how are you?
I am doing pretty good. It has been a quiet week from Jagex. We have not got that much to talk about because we did not get we got no update this week in preparation for Group Iron Man that is coming out the following week, just a couple days from now. And besides that, they kind of touched on a little bit about Leagues 3, and they talked a little bit about Nex in the Q&A this week, or last week. But besides that, it's been super quiet. We've got nothing else really going on. And even in the Q&A, we didn't get a whole lot of information, just like a few ideas. But yeah, that's it. How are things going on your end?
Good, man. Yeah, just life's been going good, and just RuneScape, I've kind of been chilling. No crazy updates this week.
Oh, it's been quiet for you as well, eh?
I broke my dry streak at Chambers of Zarek finally.
Oh, nice, that's good. Right?
Yeah, 164 raids without a purple. I was
100. Damn.
And they were all solos or CMs, so not great. I think I was like 5 and a bit over the drop rate, but I got a Dex, so.
And you needed that?
Whatever. No, I have many.
That may as well be nothing.
It's just a scroll. Yeah. It may as well be nothing, right? So it kind of feels bad, but whatever. Yeah, it was nice to see the purple light again finally.
That is rough. Well,
besides that, a lot of Tobs. Sent another Inferno attempt as well when I had some time in the week.
Sounds fun.
Slowly getting better. Yeah, I've only done like 8 or 9 attempts so far, and I've made it to about wave 60, which is pretty decent.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like my mechanics are starting to get. I'm starting to get a grasp on the basics. So hopefully, with given enough time, I think I should be able to complete it.
Is this something that you need to be consistently trying it like a handful of times a week, or else you start getting rusty?
Like yes and no. The thing about the Inferno that I've noticed so far is, it's probably going to take you a couple hours for your first cape or longer. And one mistick in there and you die, and that can be very demotivating mentally, even if you are good enough. So I think it's just as much a mental battle as it is mechanical skill battle.
Yeah,
and I think I'm at the point in my RuneScape career where I have the mechanical skills. I can do solo CMs. I have a decent knowledge of the tick system and flicking because I've done pretty much all the bosses in the game at this point. So Yeah, I could definitely do it. It's just, finding the time and finding the mental willpower to go back in there, knowing that, probably gonna die, but every time you just have the mindset that every time you get a little bit closer or you get a little bit better or, don't make as many mistakes.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
true. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
hectic.
we'll get there. By the end of the year, I'm not rushing myself.
It's funny. This week I was I guess talking to some people on Discord. Something made me want to go back and listen to older episodes of this podcast to hear kind of where my head was at on certain updates. I don't really like going back and listening to myself because it makes me cringe half the time, but and oh my god, and it was rough. But I went back to go listen to the Inferno because I must have been like level 100 or something when it came out. And I have like no memory of the Inferno when it was released. I kind of forgot that we even did an episode on it, but I went back to listen to it, and I have a quote in there where it's saying basically like, it doesn't seem right for Jagex to release content this hard. When I was talking about the Inferno, I was like saying that they should tone it down to make it more accessible for people. And I look back on that, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I think the difficulty that it seems unattainable. I haven't got it yet, obviously. But as a person going through the learning process, it's definitely doable.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to have, the right mindset. And it's one of those things. It's like basically the most challenging thing in the game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard.
Oh yeah, you see people with it, and it's like you know their skill level, right? You see them with the Inferno cape, and they either bought it or they're good at the game.
Yeah, they either bought it or they're good at the game, and you usually are able to tell who purchased them and who did not purchase them.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Because if you're good at Inferno, you're usually good at other things like Chambers and Todd and whatever, all the end game PVM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's been a pretty chill week. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, that's nice. It's nice to have those weeks once in a while.
The blood runes are just deadly though. Like I'm flying through them. I mean, I only did one attempt, but I realized that I'm gonna run out of blood runes, so I have sent some rune crafting.
And that's through
trying to catch up to that Dilz 99.
Oh yeah, that's right. What level is your rune crafting?
86, 87. Nice. We're on there.
And it's because you do the blood barrage, right?
Yeah, you have to blood because when you're learning, you take a lot of damage, so you just try and heal up off everything. So yeah, you end up blood barraging a bunch of minions.
That's cool.
But it's all good. That's what they're there for. They're there to be used.
Oh, that is right.
So yeah, man, it's been chill week. What about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, basically chill as well. I think I'm gonna start sending. I feel like I've been saying every year. I'm like, it's my goal to get the Inferno this year, or at least be trying for it. I still haven't even really entered it. But I was looking at my like item list, and I was like, my next thing that I really need before I can start doing Inferno is really the Kodai wand. Once I have that, I basically have the gear ready to start trying it. I have reasonable gear, at least. I don't have like ancestral, but I was talking to someone, they were like, use Arams, it's tank gear, it's fine. You don't need ancestral going in there. Might help, but
it's just to heal up anyways. Like you don't end up you end up just wearing your ranged armor near the end of the Inferno anyways.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like on the very really hard waves. So it's not a big deal to not have ancestral.
Yeah.
But a Kodai would be really nice.
Yeah. So that's really it. It's just a Kodai, and then I'm good to go. Yeah, but I haven't been doing a whole lot. We had the thieving skill of the week challenge that we do in the clan.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And it was thieving this week, which I need to get to 90. I've been wanting to get to 91, so I decided to learn one clicking summer gardens at the sorcerer gardens.
Yep.
It's people say like it's the most AFK way to train thieving. So I went and learned it, and it's kind of confusing. It's like, it's very confusing because it's just weird the way it works out. But there's a RuneLite plugin that really breaks it down, makes it really easy, and it basically just tells you when to click. And what you do is what Sorcerer's Garden is, it's basically there's like 4 mazes, one for each season, and summer is the highest level one. You need 65 thieving to do it, and you kind of run through the maze. There's these, I don't know, these what do you want to call them, elementals that are kind of flying around and in the maze, and if they see you, they'll kick you out of the maze. So it's like it's the thing that we all love in like rat catchers and monkey madness, where you're trying to like avoid being seen by these NPCs.
Yeah, I feel like those timing mini games were a big part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing like the original Harry Potter game, like the first one on computer, and it was just like all timing mini games.
Oh, really?
You have to go through and like not get caught by the people when you're going through the hallways or in the reserved section, and you couldn't get seen by the ghosts.
Sweet.
And they're deeply frustrating.
Yeah, it was like the hot mechanic back in the day. Yeah, that's true. There's a whole ton of them, wasn't there? I'm trying to think of other games, but I know I've seen it in like, I think Gex was a big one that I was a huge fan of. Oh man, what a throwback. Gex 3? Shit.
Never played it.
Oh man, it's a good game. Anyone who's played it, they're gonna know. It's like Mario 64, but you're a gecko. And
okay.
It's good. It's a fun game. It's been a while since I played it. Yeah, so anyways, that's what Sorcerer's Garden is. You don't want to get caught by these things that kick you out, and it's really janky and kind of a pain in the ass, so nobody does it. But with Summer Garden, what you can do is you can brute force it so that, you know, there's like 5 elementals and they're going back and forth in the maze, but you can make it so that you click where the end of the maze is, and your guy will run all the way through the maze without getting caught by any of them. And if you set it up this way, every 40 seconds you can click and your guy will just run right through. And it gives you like 30, 40 seconds of downtime. So I don't know if you're maybe playing on another account, or if you have a really slow day at work, which was what I was doing. I was sending out emails all day, and I was like, oh, I can just keep sending my guy through this maze. And yeah, you get like 150k experience an hour. It's not too bad. It's probably my most preferred way of training thieving right now.
Yeah, I remember you saying you really hate training thieving, right?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan at all. I hate pickpocketing. Pyramid Plunder was kind of lame. I should try it now that I got 91, which is my last skill grind for my elites, which is sweet.
If you didn't like it before, you're not going to like it now.
Well, I wonder if that new floor would like... It's supposed to be the fastest way to train thieving, right? With the top floor at Pyramid Plunder.
Yeah, each urn gives you, I can't quite remember. I think it's like either 875 or like over 1,000.
What? That sounds sick.
825, but there's only like 15 urns in the room.
Yeah, okay.
So you basically go up and you just clear out half the urns on the floor before, and then you clear out all the urns in the top room. I think you crest 250k for sure when you're doing it pretty quickly, especially if you have a Pharaoh Scepter.
Yeah, okay.
You can just buy one. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Pyramid Plunder, it was my preferred way of doing it for a while, but you know, after however millions of experience, it gets old. So it's nice to be able to switch things up. And there's a few different ways. I find thieving super boring to train, and there's no really actual fun way to do it, but at least you have a bunch of things to bounce between to kind of vary up the way you're leveling your thieving. So that's all right. I think
it's a skill with, like, unlike some other skills that don't have any options, it does have it's a nice variety of options for sure.
Yeah, and I think one day we'll get a fun way to train it. I think Jagex, they should be looking to, you know, bring out different ways to kind of like Temperos and Held Sepulchre, that sort of stuff that kind of makes content more engaging, or different skills more engaging, at least anyways.
Yeah, I'd prefer to see one for one of the other skills, maybe like woodcutting. Woodcutting is pretty bad.
Yeah.
490. Like Soliceps, like, yeah, they're okay. Redwoods are unbelievably good. They're like 60k an hour and super AFK.
Yeah.
But before that, like, the options pretty much suck. Like, Soliceps are okay, and teaks are, you just chop the trees down too quickly. So you basically, if you want to AFK, you got use, which, I mean, that's old school, but it's really slow.
Yeah. Magics.
So I'd like to see something for there.
Magics were super slow too. Sometimes it's nice to have something really slow if you're like trying to. Or I used to play League of Legends when I was woodcutting, and I went all the way to like level.
That's true, yeah.
Like 95 from playing League.
I've heard a lot of people do it at work, and they just woodcut like use or magics, get like 20k an hour, and you know, you get 100k a day in a work day or something.
Yeah,
or more. So yeah, I mean, it gets it up for sure. But for other players that like just have to train it and don't have that AFK option, it's not the best.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Maybe get it passively through Wintertod until you're 99 fire making or something. I don't know. There's not really a good option there, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think I got 67 from getting 99, by the way, from like whatever 50 wood cutting.
You can get a fair bit. I'm kind of working towards 99 fire making myself, and I'm probably gonna get. I'm at 97 now. I'm at 98 wood cutting, and I should get 99 wood cutting by the time I get to 99 fire making. So that'll be pretty sweet. We're getting close.
Damn. You'll have to all excuse me if I sound tired. I did just come home from a pretty intense soccer game. So
a scrimmage.
No, it was a game. Yeah, I play in a co-ed league. My sister and I have a team.
Oh, so. Cool. What position do you play?
It's pretty fun. I play striker.
Yeah. That's the guy who scores the points, eh?
Yeah, I definitely score quite a few goals for sure.
Nice.
It's fun though. I think I've told you this. I ended up when I was in university, I played a ton, and throughout like most of my life, it's my favorite sport. I shattered my ankle when I was in university in a game, and it was a pretty horrific sports injury. It just like shattered a bunch of bones in my ankle, and then I couldn't really. It didn't recover well. I had several surgeries, and the cartilage just didn't make it. Ooh. It was too much trauma for it. So I ended up getting like mild arthritis in my foot, which is not very good. So that's something I have and I've had for like 5 years. So for the longest time, I just never went back to sports because it was too sore. But I'm starting to realize it's worse if I don't play.
True.
So I started running again and playing sports, and it feels pretty much the same or slightly better. So
like it feels good or it feels like mangled.
Well, I mean it just feels like achy. You know?
Okay.
Like it feels a little bit weaker than my other ankle feels solid, and it feels just weak, or it like aches, especially in the mornings after I've been sleeping. Yeah, it's kind of, I know it's something that old people have just because their joints are old, but yeah, mine just happened to have a pretty traumatic injury. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Sports can be really bad for injuries, man.
Oh yeah, that sounds rough. No foot pedals for you for thieving, eh? I guess you can't do that.
I could use my right foot. It's my left foot that had the break. But yeah, no foot pedals to me. I actually use AHK which sounds like cheating because it can be used to cheat, but it's just auto hotkeys.
Yeah.
So I rebind my click to one of my buttons on my keyboard, and it's pretty simple. And then I can just click, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt my wrist after doing like a few hours of already nights.
Nice. Yeah. No.
And I can switch hands. Yeah, it's definitely really good to figure out how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I only learned about it not too long ago.
There's so many ways to get it right. I think auto hotkeys has a bad rap because there was a time where like the 200 mil skilling community would do like they hit 5 and their mouse would spaz out and do a bunch of actions. And
it's still used for that too.
Yeah, people still. But there's a while where Jagex like never said if that was against the rules or not. And then they came out and said it has to be 1-to-1.
Yeah, so I can't move your mouse across the screen. I think that's the rule, right?
You can move it because you can. I used to have my nums the number pad. You can make it where you can hold control and hit like 4, and then your thing will jump a bunch. But
okay, so as long as each key is one action, then you're good. Yeah, that's cool. So there's probably a bunch of methods that you can use it for.
Oh, there's a bunch of crazy stuff. Like I know when I was doing blood runes, there's a way to like, and you like chisel up all your dents.
Oh, that's sweet. I gotta get that going.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's definitely a tool that if you're going to be doing a ton of skilling, it's worth looking into for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But besides that, it's been pretty chill. Oh, speaking of other games, we've been starting to play a bit of Magic the Gathering in the chat, which you have gotten to watch as well.
You know what? I like.
You guys.
I was gonna say, like, God damn it, you guys! You guys have got me like super pumped to get into Magic. And like my whole life leading up to today has been like, Magic is terrible. And I'm never going to play it because I'm going to spend so much money. My kid's college fund. Nope. It's gone. Sorry, buddy. I had to buy some commander decks or whatever people spend their money on with Magic. Yeah. And I was always like, nope, I'm not going to get into it. And then I see you guys playing it in Discord. I'm like, oh, they look like they're having a good time.
We did have a good time. So yeah, Matt, Kratos, and I have been playing. Matt Anui and Uncle Kratos. Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun, just some 3-mans, but usually the format we play is multiplayer. Commanders traditionally played 1v1. I started playing 8 years ago when I was in college, and I started out as a 1v1 player, but there was a format up and coming called Commander, which was like a multiplayer 4-player person. So you pick like a card, a legendary creature that you think is cool,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to build a deck around them, like so that you always have access to them. So you can have a lot of fun and unique builds, and it's definitely a good time, man. Like it sort of adds that multiplayer flair. It's a little bit more casual. The games are slower. You know, they anywhere from like 1 to 2 hours is normally typically what we play.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, it's quite a good time. I really enjoy it. Yeah, 4 players is ideal. So we only have 3 right now, but I know there's lots of people interested in Magic, and there are a lot of people that might play and might want to come join us. So we've been doing that in the Discords on the weekend.
Well, I can definitely say, as of tomorrow, I can definitely be a 4th.
I see. Oh yeah, you're gonna get your cards.
I ordered
together?
a deck today, and it should be coming in
Oh,
tomorrow.
nice, man. It has a huge learning curve, the game.
Yeah.
But it's not that hard to sort of pick up and join in for sure, especially since Kratos and I have quite a lot of experience playing.
Mm-hmm.
So we can help with the rules and things like that. And I think I basically haven't stopped playing in the 8 years. I haven't taken any breaks. My friends and I have always played Magic. Like once a week, we go to the stores, bring our decks.
You do like
trade.
the Friday Night Magic?
No, it's usually another night of the week. Friday Night Magic is traditionally just 1v1 standard. So the cards that are in the recent 2 sets.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of how they make their money, right? So cards will eventually rotate out. And once you've experienced that once, like your deck, you can no longer play it because the cards aren't legal in the most recent format. It gets pretty annoying, which is why we moved to Commander, where your cards are always legal. I mean, there's a short ban list, but basically your decks will never rotate out. So if you have one now and then you pick it up, bring it to a store a year later, you can still play it, no problem.
That's cool.
Which is why it's quite nice. So there's like a few of my decks I've had for maybe 5 years or so. And just added cards along the way.
Yeah, that's
it's,
sweet.
Yeah, it's a much better like collector's experience because that's part of the game too. Is you like obviously collect cards, and that makes it a little bit more fun when your decks aren't going to disappear one day just because the newest hottest stuff is out.
Yeah, that's my I love those type of I don't know, what do you want to call them? Just those card games. Like I was a huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh growing up.
TCGs they're called, so trading card games.
Yeah. Like Hearthstone I used to really like. The problem is like I stopped playing Hearthstone and I came back and all my cards were no longer like usable, like kind of like you mentioned, they got phased out, and then I had to basically spend money to kind of get caught up, and I was like,
yeah, that's the annoying part of Hearthstone. I was big into that too. You could free to play it eventually, but you really had to spend your dust wisely and play like every day.
yeah, exactly. And
buy the expansions, right? Like, they drop sets and they always have like super powerful cards.
Yeah. And when I was in college, I met this, I was friends with this guy who was huge into Magic, and he invited me over and a few other people and to kind of play Magic, and I was like, sure. And he's like, I got a bunch of decks, you can take one and we'll play against each other, and we'll actually play Commander. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Like I've always been interested with Magic but kind of like not looked at it. And then he opened up this like this tool chest with like 30 different decks, and he's like, you'll take this one.
Jeez.
And then
gamer.
Yeah, he had so many different decks, and then we would play and he would fucking destroy us. And I was like, I don't know if you're just having fun completely obliterating us, but I was like, when I played it, I was like, okay, this makes me feel good because I am not having fun. Magic doesn't feel like it's for me. It's super complicated. I don't understand.
You're getting smashed. This is pub stomp. It's called pub stomping when you just shatter people.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, it's my turn. I'm going to place down this one land, and then boom, I got to go through my deck and take out 4 more lands. Boom, and I'm going to put out this giant like this huge monster, and then I'm going to be able to attack you directly. And because of that, all your monsters are destroyed. And I was like, dude, what the frick is going on?
That was pretty funny, man.
It is complicated,
it is sad. It is sad, but it's a complex game, but you have to sort of play specifically a format. There's like over 20,000 cards in Magic.
Wow.
And if you have experienced deck building, you're obviously going to make a more powerful deck or a better synergized deck than a person who's learning. So you have to try and find a way that you play on the same power level.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the nice things is like, even if someone has a little bit more experience and they know how to play a little bit better, if they get out to a lead, as long as their decks are within a sort of reasonable power level, if they get out to a lead, the three other people can just gang up on them.
Yeah, right. That's cool.
Which is one of the nice parts about the multiplayer format. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and you mentioned this is expensive. It definitely can be expensive. But I mean, it just depends how much money you're going to put into it.
Yeah.
Most people end up. For years I didn't spend any money on it, but then when I got a job and I didn't really have any expenses from any hobbies, I was like, all right, let's get some Magic cards.
Buy a few packs here.
So over the years, I've over the years I've definitely built up a bit of a nice collection.
Yeah, it's card packs are weird because they're basically loot crates that everybody hates. In today's generation, they play all these games. Like card packs were definitely that. And I look back when I was a kid. I grew up, from a fairly poor home. Yet, I was like thinking about it, like, man, my mom must have spent hundreds on Yu-Gi-Oh over the course of however long I played it. Because like one card pack here, one card pack there. They're like $8 each. You get a $40 tin every now and then.
And they're mostly shit cards.
Yeah,
like you're playing a lot. They're basically loot crates. Yeah, you're rolling the dice to see if you get a good card.
Yeah, and eventually they got these duplicates. Don't need them. So it's
it's a tough one. Hey, I usually don't buy packs. As a seasoned player now, I just kind of get that. I really have always done this. I just buy the cards I want because in the long run, though the rush isn't there of crinkling open the foil, it definitely is better for your collection because you just get the cards you want for the price that they're valued at, rather than gambling your money on potentially getting a card that you want.
And that's like the smart way. So like before I decided to like I bought a deck earlier today. But before that I was just playing, Magic Arena, the computer game, the mobile game.
Yeah, the online
digital version of it. Yeah, and like you get a bunch of free cards, and I'm like, you know what? I can play it. I can learn it. I can find out if I actually like it or not. And I've been actually playing the hell out of it. Like I've been playing it a ton, and it's been a lot of fun. And then you get a bunch of free cards and free packs to open. And as I did, there is like Dungeons, Forgotten Realms, but it's like the Dungeons and Dragons universe. There's like a set of cards, and I started opening up cards from there. And I started getting these like cool cards that I recognized. And I was like, oh man, these are really cool. Like, I know what this is. Oh, I want to build a deck around this. I have no idea how to do it. I have no idea. And it probably would be a shit deck, but like, I know what this is. This looks cool.
Yeah, that's one of the sweet parts. A lot of people in the Magic universe or Magic community, I should say, were mad when Forgotten Realms came out, which was basically because Magic has its own like long time lore. There's a bunch of worlds, like a huge storyline.
Cool.
And Wizards of the Coast, who's the company that made Magic in 1993, also owns or they're owned by Hasbro now, who also owns Wizards of the Coast. When what's the company? They own Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, they own it.
So it's like the same company, and they've owned it for like years and years and years. So they're sort of connected. So a lot of people kind of let it slide. But they also mentioned that they're going to doing like promotional, like one-off cards with other. They did it for The Walking Dead like a couple of years ago, and people were just so fucking mad.
Oh
dude.
yeah,
you should have seen people. They were absolutely pissed out of their minds.
I
mean, it does, and I'll be honest, I wasn't happy about it, but it definitely felt weird. Like this whole Magic lore, and then it's very much like D&D, right?
Yeah,
like sort of classic fantasy stuff.
So like
but then they sort of spoiled it a bit there.
I could see why people are upset, where it's like this is my thing, and suddenly we're getting, it'd be like if there's like a World of War or a League of Legends cameo in RuneScape one day, you'd be like, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense.
It's very, very good. That's a great comparison because Magic and RuneScape's not quite as old as Magic, but we're enfranchised players at this point. Everyone that's played this game has played it forever, for the most part. Same with Magic. A lot of the players have played for quite a long time.
Right.
So they sort of get set in their ways.
Yeah, totally.
It's not the end of the world. Even with all that stuff going on, at the end of the day, it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, so like when I got like these recognizable things from Dungeons and Dragons, like there's a god basically called Vecna, and I got a card that was like the hand of Vecna, which is like an item you can get in Dungeons and Dragons, or it's like, or most people allow it. But I was like looking, I was like, oh, that's sick. Like the Vecna is is a freaking really powerful god, or deity, whatever you want to call it. I was like, that's really cool. And I got in the card pack, and I was like, well, shit. So then I started looking at the D&D or the Forgotten Realms commander decks for Magic. So I was like, there's so many commander decks, it's like kind of overwhelming which one to choose. But I was like, I'm going to choose one of these ones because it's going to have shit that I kind of know, and that's going to be kind of cool. That's basically the reason why I bought it today, was because I was like, I opened up a pack, I think it was like last night for the Forgotten Realms, and I got cards that I knew, and I was like, oh shit, I'm just going to go buy a commander deck now because that was kind of cool. I want to do the same thing, but with the real cards.
Hell yeah. It's the best way to start. The commander decks are really good.
Yeah, and then like with the pieces of Vecna, that's like 3 cards you need to kind of get the whole combo together. You need the hand, the eye, and then this vile book of darkness, I think it's called. And you need those 3 cards. So then I was looking on a website where you could just buy those cards instead of having to like hope to get one in a pack. You could just buy the cards like you mentioned. And it's like $7 for that. And I was like, that's kind of affordable. I don't know if it's good, but it sounds cool. That'd be kind of fun. I haven't done that yet, but it's way more. It feels better than having to buy a bunch of card packs and hope you get the cards that you want, like you had to do with Yu-Gi-Oh before the internet was such a global thing.
Yeah, if you're interested in getting into Commander specifically, doing what you're doing is perfect. So you buy a intro deck, which is about $50, and they'll give you a 100 card deck, which is what you play in Commander. So it's called Commander or EDH. It's the same format. And you just play that, and then if you like the deck, you just slowly upgrade it right over time. Like you buy those singles, sort of replace the cards that you notice aren't performing very well. Because the pre-con decks they're definitely good. They get your foot in the door, and you can play a decent game with them. But there's some cards that definitely don't belong in there. They're just kind of filler, and it's nice to be able to replace those with more synergistic cards for sure. Yeah,
that's really cool.
And you can play affordably too. I'd say like the minimum you'd spend on a custom built deck would be like $50. So that assumes like all the cards. You have like 30 lands, which you can 30 maybe 38 lands or something. And those are like almost free for the most part on a budget, because you can just use basics that are like 5 cents a piece.
Yeah, okay.
And then all the cards, you can get them like, a bunch of 50-cent cards, then you can have a decent little deck, and the budgets go just quickly spike up from there.
You gotta be careful.
You do have to be careful, but you can definitely play on budget. And I did throughout college, and I still had just as good a time.
Yeah, it's fun. I love those type of games. So I'm excited for mine to come in tomorrow. And I guess the last thing I wanted to mention was when we were talking earlier about how you're buying packs and opening them and all that stuff. It's funny because I have a buddy who also collects these sort of cards, but he does on the opposite side of things, where he buys the cards for their value. And like he invests basically into different trading cards, and he bought a bunch of Forgotten Realms cards because he's hoping that like in 10 years from now they'll be worth a lot of money. And he's got like, I was like talking to him the other day, and he's got like so many card packs and these booster decks, and he's like, yeah, I refuse to open any of them. And I was like, he's got like so many, like hundreds of dollars he spent on it. And I was like,
yeah, it's interesting. Bro. I feel like there are better ways to invest your money.
Yeah.
Personally, that's not the way I approach Magic. It's a game more than an investment for me.
You know what? I was the same. And I was talking to him because he's got a bunch of UFC cards that he would purchase, which I was like, okay, the sports cards. I don't know. That's purely for collecting. But he showed me the cards he had, and then he showed me the eBay postings when you can search it. Like he has cards worth $5,000 a piece, and I was like, are you like?
Yeah, he probably has some reserve list cards. So back in the day, Wizards of the Coast were struggling for investors. So what they ended up doing was getting some investors, and kind of as collateral for the investors, they said, okay, so some of our most powerful cards, we're going to make a list of, let's say 200 cards it was, and we're never going to reprint them again, which means their value is never going to drop.
Wow.
So some of the most powerful cards were printed in the early days when they didn't fully understand the extent of the game or like what those things could do.
Is that like Black? Is
So in
Black
the
Lotus one of them?
original-
That's the one that I know.
Yeah, Black Lotus is disgusting. A breach of power. For anyone who knows Magic, you can only play one land a turn, which is 1 mana. So and they quickly, anyone who's played a card game knows that with resources they quickly spike up. So Black Lotus is 0 mana, and you can sacrifice it to give you 3 temporarily for the turn. So it's just, it does degenerate things. You can like loop it in your graveyard, or you could just play like a 4-drop on turn 1, and your opponent just can't do anything about it, right? Because you're just like 4 turns ahead of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing. So they didn't fully understand like maybe the power level of some of these cards. There's also Moxes, which cost 0 mana and give you a permanent, they tap to add a mana. So it's like sort of cheating the game by playing a second land. So you can start rolling faster than your opponents. So all these cards, plus like the original dual lands, a bunch of like cool creatures, all got slammed on this list, and they could never reprint them again, which means the value has really only gone up.
Wow.
So Black Lotus, I don't know what it goes for, probably 50 grand at this point.
Can I find it? Let me see.
My guess is I've seen it go from like 20 to 40 to 50. It's in that realm. At 20 minimum if it's damaged. And then the Moxen probably, which are 1 for each color, so 5, are the next most expensive, and they likely go for, I don't know, it's hard to say, man, but at least 5 to 10,000 depending on the color. So anyways, these cards are definitely sought after by collectors, and the prices are only going up. I actually got a reserve list card when I first started playing, so one of these cards.
What?
And the value has gone up quite. Yeah, I got a Yawgmoth's Will for like $14 at a local game store, like in 2014. It's a very disgusting like combo card. But at the time I was using it to play the most fair of Magic, just so I could cast stuff that I'd cast before. And I think it's like in the 400 range now.
$400?
So. Yeah.
Nice. You're gonna say 400,000. I was like, oh my god, dude, sell it.
No, God, no. So most things on the reserve list aren't as crazy expensive as that, but still, the price has never dipped, which is most people, I'd say most of the Magic users. This is a Magic podcast now. Jeez, Dilz. I just say, like, most people don't really like it, but I understand where it came from.
Yeah, okay.
So we should move on. If you guys are interested in playing like Commander or meeting people and like learning Magic, or you play it, just hit me up on Discord or jump in the gaming channel.
Look at our own Friday night Magic going on.
Yeah, we've been trying to get it going on weekends, and it's been a blast.
That's cool. I'm excited to join one of these upcoming days. I'm excited to get my cards in, but yeah, there's this is what happens when this is a slow episode. We go off the rails.
We're just full on tangent. We're like 30 minutes in, no RuneScape at all.
One of the topics, going back to, let's wrap it around to RuneScape. One thing I wanted to ask you was, because you mentioned you started playing in like 2018, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
Do you have like an update that you remember like when I think I've been playing since the game first came out, but I wasn't really paying attention to much of what was going on until the Slayer bosses were being pitched. And I remember that was the time when I was kind of like actually caring about new content coming out, even though I don't think I was ready to fight them, but I was like, I remember looking on Reddit, hearing the discussions about it, and like paying attention to dev blogs when the Slayer bosses were first pitched. Do you have an update like that when that you can like, oh, I remember as this is the big update, the first big update I remember as a player?
It's hard to say. I think Song of the Elves is probably the biggest one that I remember.
Okay.
Because I recall listening to the podcast, because I was on a podcast at the time for League of Legends.
Yeah.
I love podcasts. So as a noob, I immediately searched out a podcast and I started listening to you guys. I remember you and Deegan going over the Song of the Elves, and I thought that was really cool. I really liked Prifdinus. I thought it was a very fresh look, for sure. The other one I remember very fondly is the Farming Guild.
Okay.
That was always my favorite skill. And I think just a few months after I had started playing my main, basically all I did was do farming. I shifted away Slayer and a few other skills, but that was my favorite skill by far. The Farming Guild came out, and I absolutely loved it. I just thought that area of the game was it just looked so nice. And I don't know, I just felt comfortable there. So I spent a lot of time doing farming contracts. I really like that content.
That's cool. Yeah, the farming guild was sweet. It was pitched like kind of a while ago, and I kind of always wondered what happened with this. But years ago, they pitched a farming expansion where Hespori was actually going to be in the wilderness. It was going to be like a wilderness patch where you could like plant a demi boss in the wild. They never really went into details, but they're just like, this is our idea of having a wildy patch that turns into a demi boss, and this is to get more PVMers out there so that you could have PKers camp in this farming spot.
That's very funny.
Yeah, and another thing that they pitched, and I always wondered what happened to this idea because we have it in RuneScape 3, and it was animal husbandry where you could raise different animals. Like when they pitched it, it was like you get cows to get milk, you could get like red spiders to get red spider eggs from farming, and then Zulrah, like little Zulrah snakelings that you could get. You get like the Zulrah scales
from. That was really cool. I really like that idea. It's kind of like farming but with animals.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be like an expansion. And then when they came out with the farming guild, they never even pitched animal husbandry. And I never really knew what happened there.
I'm not sure. I think farming is a relatively divisive skill. Like,
some people love it, some people hate it.
Some people, like people who love farming like me, like really love it. I do think it's the best skill in the game. Slayer is also enjoyable as well, but I just kind of like that routine based thing. Like I jump onto RuneScape back when I was doing farm runs. Don't need to anymore, but I would just do a farm run, do a tree run, try and get the pet. I go to the farming guild, do my contracts, and it was just like a way to kind of start my day. I definitely liked the routine of it, but I also understand a lot of people hate dailyscape. I know your brother hated it.
Yeah, he's a huge World of Warcraft player, so I don't know what's going on there, but hey, whatever.
He didn't like those dailies, and I understand where people are coming from too. Like you never want to feel forced to do something in a game, and I think that's specifically for Iron Man. It's one of the things that turns people off the mode is because you do have to do a lot of farming. It's a really important skill because if you don't keep up with it, you don't have as many supplies to do bossing later on. Or you could be a little bit slow getting your herb lore up. So people who like farming are definitely at an advantage if they play Iron Man. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons people don't enjoy the mode very much.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's
but it's too bad. But I see where people are coming from when they don't like it.
Yeah, and
What about you? Do you enjoy farming?
I really do like farming. And I think part of it is that like I like the routine of it as well. I mean, it's nice to get. I like. We like to watch numbers go up, but like it's really fun to collect a bunch of different items. Like when I would do my farming runs, I would make them as like super long. Like I'd go hit every allotment, I'd do every flower patch and every single patch there. I would go hit my bushes. I'd go just like grab everything and kind of it was
sounds nice. Like my farming runs.
Yeah, it was cool. But I also like really liked Harvest Moon when I was growing up. I really liked Stardew Valley. Right? Yeah, I like those. I like farming games.
Did you play what's that cute one called that's on Switch? It used to be on Wii and stuff.
Oh, is it the Animal Crossing?
Oh yeah, that my girlfriend loves that game.
Oh yeah, I haven't played Animal Crossing since GameCube. But I used to love those games.
Vibe in that game. Seems so chill.
Yeah,
those collect games, shit basically.
Yeah, those games were really cool. I love them. I feel like the beauty of we're going on crazy tangents, but I feel the beauty of Animal Crossing was like there was no internet, so I would play it every single day because I had no idea what was happening. There was internet, but I didn't have a computer growing up, so like I had no idea like what to expect. So I had to log in every day because every day was different, and that was a fun game. Now I'll just go search the wiki and it'll tell me exactly what's coming and what to do.
We're different age now. We're adults. We want to know what's going on.
You want to be
sort of enjoy the mystery stuff. Okay, it's good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah,
great tangent.
Yeah, I was curious to hear what update like you could look back on and be like, oh, this was the update when I was like super serious in the game. Because when I look back, it was definitely like the Slayer bosses, because I remember the bludgeon being pitched, and people were like, "Oh, I don't know if this could be a good idea, or it looks stupid, or whatever it is." Yeah, that was the first one that I remember. But anyways, quite interesting. Let's get into the little bit of news that we have.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's do it. All right. So this is gonna be a quick one. We got basically like no real dev blogs. There's game maintenance on September 29th. Game went down for 30 minutes, but it was fine. Yeah, not a whole lot went on. They did a Q&A where they talked about Leagues 3 and they also talked about Next. But they didn't really mention a whole lot. So this wasn't even like, normally when they talk about a lot, they release the dev blog right afterwards, but they just kind of like touched on things where basically everyone, the idea with this leagues is everyone is going to be on a even playing field. If you played any of the previous leagues, you start off, you could choose one of 3 perks, and then after a certain amount of points, you could choose like one of another 3 perks, and you can kind of keep doing it that way. The problem was when people started right away, they might pick something that looks cool to them, but they were at a serious disadvantage. Like the first leagues, I remember what you could choose. There's 3 of them. It was I'm gonna mix them up now, but one of them was you had unlimited run energy. The other one was you could shoot arrows and you would never lose any of your arrows, plus you would get extra ranging experience and you did more damage with range. And then there was one with like magic that did the same thing, but with magic you didn't use up as much. You used maybe 50% of your runes. But what ended up happening was people that could run everywhere benefited so much more because they were just whipping all over the place.
You're straight trolling if you didn't pick that one, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And some people who picked that one, there was no going back. So what they're doing with this is that they're making it kind of similar to, like very similar to the Deadman mode, that you get these relics. Are they calling it relics? We're calling it, Shattered Relics is what it's called. You get these relics that you could then attune to, and you can then get some sort of perk. You can have like a handful of them going at a time, like maybe 3, maybe up to 5. I don't know why I have those 2 numbers stuck in my head, but I do. Either 3 or 5. And you can switch them out at any time. But they're doing it in a way so that you can't just like put on a bunch of these relics, kill bandos, put on these other relics that might help you regenerate. I don't know, do something while you're waiting for bandos to spawn, switch them back on. You know what I mean? They don't want you juggling a bunch of relics. You're basically going to have to choose, like whatever task you're doing, you have to choose the relics and stick with them, which sounds pretty cool. But you'll get these relics through skilling, or through killing monsters, or through like doing clue scrolls, and that's how you obtain them.
It seems better than getting screwed by just making a bad choice. Like also last league's last recall, just disgusting relic.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Relic.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that, you're basically like, if you picked the jewelry one, you felt real bad.
Yeah, because that was the issue, is that like you didn't know, and it became like people would like, okay, don't jump into leagues right away. Wait a couple days for people to figure out what the meta is, because you don't want to be left out.
Jagex either.
Yeah,
because they're like basically leagues is breaking the game. So they're all, one thing is always going to be way too powerful. But they're definitely learning as they go. So I'd imagine they're going to get to a point with leagues. I don't think leagues are going anywhere. They seem to be quite popular.
Yeah, they are, and I think it's good. They're going all out on them too, which is cool to see. Some people who don't care for leagues are probably losing their heads, like, oh my god, there's so much dev time dedicated for this. But
I mean, I'm not a leagues guy, but I haven't played the first 2. I will likely play this next one. It just felt really long. The first 2, like, weren't they several months? The first one was like 3 months, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember it. It felt like too much time to be putting into it. But now that it's the new one's 6 weeks, this league's 3, which almost might even be too long as well. But it's getting better. They're learning from them, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I really like that Shattered Relic idea where you can switch them out. Hey, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's cool so that you don't have to worry about screwing up and picking the wrong one. Yeah, by the way, Twisted Leagues was 2 months, it looks like. November 14th to January 16th.
felt a bit long.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea is make them long enough so that people who aren't able to no life it can still fully enjoy it and get satisfied.
Yep.
But make them short enough that you are never burnt out from the game. That you they it's like when you're having a lot of fun, right before the drop off in your fun, so you start getting bored, they have to end it right when it's like right before that dip happens, so that you're like, oh man, I was having so much fun. Gotta wait for the next one. Otherwise, you get burnt out, you get bored. They bring out the next one, and you're just like, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I get that.
So it should be pretty cool.
So yeah, they released a little information on that.
Yeah, exactly. They kind of just talked about the relics and all that fun stuff. And they also talked about Nex and what they expect from Nex. So they kind of want to keep it similar and themed to like how it is in RuneScape 3. Even though RuneScape 3, it's hard to look at it because it's apparently gone through like so many different iterations. But they want to make it so it is primarily group content, but you can solo it. It just won't be optimal. And they're going to make it similar to Nightmare where like Irons can play as well, and then they'll get their own piece of the loot after the fight. So like you can group up with like 5 other normal players and you'll still get your own loot.
Yeah, you all roll a percentage based on, how much damage you do to the boss and how good your gear is and stuff.
Yeah, because it kind of sucks that Irons are forced to like solo a bunch of group bosses, right?
It's all there's going to be optimal strategies where you're, we have to do the same thing for Theater of Blood.
Yeah,
it's just the way it goes.
So yeah, it's supposed to be like a sort of like a 4-phased fight where each phase is a different type of ancient, because it's a Zerodian boss, and which is where ancient magics comes from. So you'll have like a blood phase, a shadow phase, a smoke phase, and a ice phase. Sorry, there's supposed to be 5 phases because the 5th phase was curses in the original iteration. We don't have curses in this game. By the way, I'm just gonna put this out there. I think the idea of having a new prayer book that you'd have to switch to is kind of cool. I think having a curse spell book would be really cool.
That they'll explore putting curses into the game in the future.
Yeah, they've mentioned that.
It just wasn't the right time.
Yeah, and then it probably wouldn't be adding the same curses that were in
RS3.
Yeah, RS3, because like Soul Split apparently was super overpowered. But what are your thoughts on like having a new prayer book that would be like curses?
Be cool. Yeah, I think that'd be great because the prayer book's a little bit stale. Our current prayer book, there's not a lot to it. There's just use the defensive prayers pretty much, and then the offensive prayers. Don't really use anything else, do you? There's basically 3 that you sometimes you throw preserve on, and sometimes you use redemption, but that's pretty much it. There's only like 6 or 7 we use, so I wouldn't mind seeing some kind of update to the prayer book. I think there's space to expand there.
Yeah, I agree, and like
they are powerful though, so you do have to be careful with them.
With the curses.
That's no, just prayer in general, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Our current prayer book is very, very powerful. Like you can basically negate all damage.
Yeah, protect from melee, I know protect from range, and all that stuff. That shit's so.
And you boost all your DPS. It's a huge core part of the game. So if they are going to switch it and add sort of equally powerful things, I never knew what curses were. I didn't really play that RS at the time. You just have to be careful and do your homework, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like they have sort of precedent to work with RS3, which I quite like for these huge game changing updates. Were you going to talk about the rewards as well from Nex, or did you not get that part?
Yeah. So they mentioned very vaguely that there would be a full armor set of some sorts. That's a 3-piece armor set plus 3 more rewards, I believe. Am I getting that right?
Yep. Yeah, you're correct.
So a total of 6. And they didn't give any more detail on exactly what they would be. But I was like thinking, like, what kind of armor set? You can't do range, because we're getting a ranged armor set in Raids 3. I think it has to be melee because we got ancestral. I don't even know, but then again, we got Inquisitors.
I think I agree. It's probably gonna be Torva, which is the melee set.
Yeah, I don't know,
and likely it's just gonna be a straight. Just judging by the way Arcane was talking, It's going to be a straight upgrade on Bandos, the Torva set. But then people are like, "Whoa, Bando's going to be useless." It's like, well, no, it's not actually going to be useless for these reasons, because Torva is going to be goddamn expensive, just like Inquisitors is. And Inquisitors is an equivalent set. Torva is going to be super expensive. The whole set will be like, well over $1 bill. And not everyone can afford that, so most people will still be using Bandos.
You think it'll be a flat upgrade, eh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be straight upgrade. I don't think it's going to be huge, but it will be an upgrade.
Interesting.
Just like all our best in slots. They're not, like, Prims aren't a huge upgrade on D-boots. They're like 1 strength. So I think it's going to be a couple. What is Bandos chest plays 4? I think the Torva body might be 6. Legs might be 3. Helm might be 3. So it's going to give you a max hit or 2. But I don't think it's going to be bigger than that. But it's going to be super expensive, I guarantee you.
Yeah, it'll need to be. I think it either needs to be melee. I was thinking maybe even like a hybrid set, because we don't have much hybrid gear.
Yeah, we tend to like mix match pieces.
Yeah,
with hybrid stuff.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I'll be interested to see what kind of gear they bring out. Sometimes it feels like there's not a whole lot they can work with, but I think we were chatting about it in the Discord and just spitballing different ideas for what we could see with this new gear. And then there's a lot they could do if they wanted to get creative.
I mean, adding an armor set that's slightly better than Bandos, I don't think is the end of the world. Like, is that power creep? Like, technically yes, but if it's only going to be a max hit, it's not like going to be life and death. And it will give players something to sort of work towards. It'll give people with a lot of money something to buy. It'll give all the players grinding the boss a really good reason to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We're at the point, maybe some odd years ago, I might have been like, I don't know if we should get a flat upgrade. But it's been a long time since we got an upgrade in terms of, a lot of it's niche, like Inquisitors, where it's like an upgrade.
Yeah, not many people have Inquisitors.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty rich to buy that stuff. You basically need a scythe to buy Inquisitors. No really other reason to buy it.
But it'll be interesting to see, because
killing Nightmare.
There's a lot that they could do with it, where they're looking at this low life perk for this new ranging set that's going to come out in Raids 3, and they could do something just as cool for melee, not low life, but you could do something else. I don't even know.
I really don't think they're going to, though. I just think it's going to be straight upgrade armor. Maybe it won't have the same defensive capabilities. I don't know, or something like that, but I think it's just going to be a straight up better armor set.
But then the other 3 pieces, you know what I mean? They said there's going to be 3 other pieces of gear going with it.
But they're not going to be armor. So they already, Arcane said there's going to be a helm top and bottom. It's probably going to be the melee set. If not, it'll be mage. And then there's going to be 3 other things, right? We can speculate what those are. Maybe
range gloves, maybe.
Maybe I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of attachment going on.
Oh boy, yeah.
So, but since the boss originally released a piece, maybe there'll be something for mage thrown in there. But there's not going to be a mage offhand, because that's going to be the mega rare at the new raid.
Right, 5%
of course, right. Damaging mage offhand. So that's kind of out the picture. I don't think they're going to do a range offhand, because they just buff the buckler, unless they add like an attachment to it. So that could be something interesting. But most weapons in the game, this is another reason shields kind of suck. Most weapons in the game are 2-handed, the best ones. Twisted Bow, Scythe. And then if you're using a 1-handed melee weapon, you're using an Avernic Defender with it.
Yeah, okay.
Or a Dragon Defender, right?
Yep.
So shields don't really have a place anywhere except for mage, and they're kind of covered. So I have just by through deduction, I don't think there's going to be any shield attachments. Maybe range gloves. Yeah, you might be right.
Maybe range gloves. Here's what I'm thinking: the Zerosian spear. It's it's an attachment to the Zamorak spear, and this is what it'll do. It's gonna be pretty shit for you. You're gonna attack really slow. It's not gonna do a whole lot of damage. But maybe the special will do this. But everyone around you will get an attack to a buff to their melee damage.
Ooh, okay, that's cool.
See, you could do stuff like that. Again, I'm not a game designer, so I have no idea. But another one, okay, the Staff of the Dead. You turn that into the Staff of the Life, Staff of Life, and maybe the spec. You're allowed to target your own. You could target another player, and you could heal them with your spec. that might be a little dicey, but I think there's types of mechanics like that they could incorporate, and that's what I'm excited to see if they're going to do anything cool like that, or if it's just going to be like, no, we're going to get the new range gloves that are best in slot, new melee gear that's best in slot. We're going to bring out these new boots. These are hybrid boots that are just a little bit worse than all three of them put together. We're going to get you, and then the fourth one will be a new cape, hybrid cape. That's,
hybrid cape.
Flat stats are getting boring. I'll take it in some spots, but give us a little bit more. Some things that are like cool and fun. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see it, and I think it's nice to have like a surprise like end game content.
Yeah, that's the problem with the polling system. Is like we don't get surprises that much.
Exactly. There's going to be. They mentioned the drop rates too. Arcane said it's going to be less rare than the Nightmare, so it's not like regular Nightmare where it's quite rare to get an item, but it's going to be more rare than Theater of Blood, which is 1 in 11. It's gonna be, so what's it for a Nightmare unique? Like 1 in 100?
Oh, I have no idea. Something like that, I guess.
Let's say it's something like that. So it's maybe gonna be like 1 in 50 range. And who knows how long the kills are gonna take. We're gonna have to see.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's not gonna be super difficult. It's definitely gonna have some mechanics to it, but it's not gonna be really, really hard, especially in a group, right?
Yeah,
you're going to be able to mask this thing.
It will be interesting to see.
Looking forward to it.
We're getting a dev blog this month, so that'll be cool. I am down. But yeah,
definitely want a Twisted Bow before I go there. Probably
get grinding, get some more dexes in your name before that.
Dude, I've tried. I tell you.
Oh boy. Anyway, that's it.
One day. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Hey.
Yeah, that's it for the news. So definitely a short week all around. But Magic's been popping off. I guess that's the consensus of this episode. Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap this bad boy up. All right, we're taking a quick little break, heading on over to the Grand Exchange. So guys, if you want to support the show, become a supporter of the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. And there you can sign up for one of our tiers. If you pay $3 or more each month, then you get access to the live streams that Jagex does. We do an audio version of it. I hang out. We do a pre-post show and some commentary over top. And I think tomorrow is the release of Group Iron Man. And I think what I want to try out doing is doing kind of like a first impressions to the game mode, or the day of release, seeing how it goes, or maybe the day after release. Jagex got that covered with the Thursday Q&A. So I'm going to try that tomorrow. So if you're on Patreon, you'll get access to that as well. So again, patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. And you also get some episodes dedicated to you if you're a $5 tier supporter or higher. So this episode is dedicated to Mr. or Mrs. XX for being our Kingpin, Queenpin tier. What a mouthful. I don't know if I can do that. I might have to switch up the names of these the Patreon tiers. Anywho, we'll do that later. And if you are a $10 tier supporter, our godfather, godmother, every episode is dedicated to you. So thank you so much to Gentanu, Splimo, Dreadful Monkeys, Szechuan, Mallard, Twisted Soul, Hoyt, J Blaz, Z Space, and of course, Mr. Strasady. So thank you guys so much for all of the support. But hey, if you know what, Patreon's not your thing, and you want to go head on over and buy me a coffee instead, you go to buymeacoffee.com/Dilz, where, guess what? You can leave a comment, and from now on, your comment will be read, unless you don't want it to be read. I never really know if I should or shouldn't read these, but we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go rogue, and we're gonna do it. So we have to go way back too, because the interface makes it really hard to navigate, and I just found out you could you could find it. Now, the weird part is it doesn't even tell you a date of when people did these, but anyways, doesn't matter. So first off, we have Mr. Ted's, and he's Mr. Ted's in the CC. Thanks for the free pods, Dilz. And I say, you're welcome. Thank you for listening. 8 Lines says, love the podcast and want to show some appreciation. Well, it is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Sour Punani says, cheers, OG in the clan chat. Man, I remember when you were like level 70, we were hanging out. Oh man, way back, eh? No Name Plug says, I went to Canada once and ordered an iced coffee at Tim Hortons. They were confused. You can get an iced coffee at Tim Hortons. It's barely a coffee, and there was a whack ton of sugar in it. But it's kind of good. Yeah, be careful. Dr. Feelgood says, so weird Canadians and Americans put cream in their coffee. Milk all the way. Cheers from the CC from England. Cannot wait for one day where I'm able to bring myself to England and go to RuneFest or something. That is going to be awesome. That is one of my bucket list items if Jagex ever brings it back. Yeah, cream is life. Cream is life. I try milk. It's just not the same. It feels a bit off. The Six, really appreciate all your work you put into the podcast. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you for listening. Matty PP says, hey, Dilz, love the show. I'm so glad you brought back the weekly content. Keep it up. We're trying to do it weekly. It's an ongoing battle, but we're going to get there, I promise. Abusive says, love the pod, man. Keep it going. Will do. Thank you so much. One Big PB says, longtime fan. Love the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Feminlit says, been listening for the pod for longer than I can remember. This doesn't even begin to cover the amount of entertainment you've provided for me. Thanks. Likewise, it feels the exact same. I don't know if I'd still be playing RuneScape, which means I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've got 6,000 hours poured into that thing, and what is it, 10,000 hours to master a skill? Like, be the best at something? I could be so good at playing guitar or something, but here we are, we're playing RuneScape, and you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Mr. Showers' podcast make my day. Same. Dr. Feelgood again with the heart emoji. Thank you so much, dude. Rowdy Pickles is grateful to have your podcast listened to on my 45-minute commute. Now to the CC, but excited to finally have some community-based gameplay. Oh, it makes the game so much better. So glad it helps with work. I understand it. Dr. Feelgood again with the heart. Damn, dude. Hoyt says, can't think of a better investment for the money. Great podcast and great community. I think I could think of a better investment, but you know what? I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you so much. Shout out to Hoyt for joining our weekly D&D game. So that's been fun. God of Thunder says, love the content on the podcast and the positive community you have fostered in the CC. Thanks for all the work. I am also love the positive community that it has fostered. I don't credit myself for it. I just came up with the name and a place, and everyone else filled in the clan chats, and that's been awesome. Yeah, you guys make the community awesome. Not really me. Salamander says, good day. I'm currently a patron for podcast OSR's Tryhards, but also a listener for the Wildy podcast, and just wanted to show some love and support for the community. You guys definitely deserve some of the support for all the info you provide. So yeah, so you and Heartless can enjoy a coffee on me. Keep up the good work, and good luck to you and to you all in game as well. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, gotta show some love to my brothers over at OSR's Tryhards. It's a great show. If you guys are looking for another show to listen to, OSR's Tryhards is a pretty damn good podcast. Same with XP Waste. We've been chatting a bunch between the the three podcasts total, I guess. And yeah, they're all good guys. Go check them out. Terry Paramore says, love the pod, man. And thank you very much. Issa Kobos is good on you. Keep up the good work to you and everyone on the stream. Appreciate you very much. 2JZ Soup says, longtime listener. Thought it was about time to give back. Keep it up, brother. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Force Murders has been listening for a while. Recently joined the clan. Keep it up. Well, I'm glad you've joined up in the clan. Hope you enjoy it. The Six, smiley face, and some smiling back digitally as well. And of course, now we're back to Mr. Ted's for the Baby's College Fund. Not actually. Okay, guys, we're all caught up. But thank you so much. I'm so sorry I didn't read those earlier. I don't know what happened. But now I know. It's good to know. All right, guys. There is the Grand Exchange segment, and we'll get back into the episode. Yeah, we will. Or will we? No, we will. Guys, thanks for listening. Okie dokie, we are back. Before we get into the old housekeeping of where you can come hang out with us in game and all that fun stuff, we have an announcement to make, which is we are having an event at the end of this month called the Wild Achievement Diaries. So I'm excited for this one. It's going to be teams of 2, and you guys will be competing to do different challenges or different tasks of varying difficulty from easy, medium, hard, elite, or grandmaster. And it's like a mix of PVMing, skilling, PvP, and social tasks. I made the announcement just a few days ago, so if you're in the Discord, you can go check it out and see some of the rules there. But it's an event that'll be happening at the end of the month for about a week, for a week exactly, starting October 22nd, ending October 29th. And yeah, we'll do more announcements and give more details as we get closer. But if this is something you are interested in, make sure to join the Discord to check it out. Right now, the pot is sitting at about 60 mil, and that'll go up as we get closer to the date and people sign up.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But if you're wondering, well, damn, where is this Discord located? You can find it in the show notes or the description of this episode. So that's where you can join the Discord. You can also go on Twitter at TheWildernessRS. You'll find it linked there if that's your thing. You can also send us an email, TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com. You can tell us whatever it is. If you can send us suggestions, ask us questions, tell us stories, whatever it is, you name it, we'll read it. Or you write it, we'll read it. And of course, our in-game clan and friends chat our friends chat is WildCC and our clan is Wild. Feel free to join both or either one of them. We'll be happy to have you guys. And we do a lot of fun events. We do weekly skills of the week. We can compete to get your own little skilling rank, which is just
speaking
for flex.
Of thieving. How many thieving pets were in the clan this week?
Oh my god, true.
You got one, right?
No, I got it earlier. I got it last Saturday. But
Szechuan got the squirrel. Then who got the next one? Zran got the thieving pet. Smarties got the thieving pet. This was all in one day. Who else? There was someone else got a thieving pet. It was crazy. There were like 4 or 5 of them in one day. Plus the squirrel, of course. Pets were just
Cam wants ham got the mining pet.
Okay, that's what it was.
Blake Sniper, he got a thieving pet.
Oh my
Smarties god. Max got a thieving pet all in one day. Holy Christ.
Yeah, it was 5 skilling pets in one day. It was crazy. Kept looking at the chat. I just couldn't believe it. It was great.
Yeah, that is nutty.
They've been really fun. The sort of weekly things. Everyone's been enjoying them.
Yeah, it's a good way
to
kind of
skip a week, right?
Yeah, it happens every week. And definitely don't feel like you have to. The idea is for people not to feel like they have to compete every week. It's more so, hey, you need to train a skill. Well, why not do it this week? Maybe you'll get a chance at winning a bond. You'll get a little skiller rank in the clan if you're there. Or if you're in Discord, you'll get a little badge that says what skills you won. So that happens every week. And then, of course, we do fun events every couple of months as well. So we got the Wild Achievement Diaries. This is the first iteration of that. Heartless, last episode, you kind of teased about the next bingo coming up in the new year.
Bingo. Oh, yeah, bingo's the best time of the year, man.
Yep. So if it's something that you kind of want to supplement your RuneScape experience, come hang out in the Discord. We do a lot of fun stuff and would love to have you. It's a great chance to meet people. You know what? I was a solo player for a lot of my time when I first started playing this game, and I never really had a community of people to play until I made the podcast clan chat, and then people slowly came in. I mean, people used to come in, see me just sitting there, and they'd be like, "Is this it?" And then they would never come back. That happened so often, and then slowly a couple people would hang around, and it's been cool, Yeah, I really credit the all the friends I've made that to be the reason why I still play this game. I quit so many times before, but this is like, since then I've been stuck. So if you really want to just be like a lifer for this game, then it's good to find a community.
We're all lifers still. Don't joke yourself. I know. So yeah, honestly, if you have never done any sort of clan event, it's just the most fun you'll ever have playing this game. I've got a lot of drops in this game, done a lot of things. Nothing is ever going to rival, first nights of bingo, being in the chat, hanging out with everyone. Even the PvP thing that we did was an absolute blast. Just getting together, meeting some new people, doing sort of a wacky thing that you'd never do on RuneScape is a great way to enjoy the game. And I'd highly suggest anyone coming out. So this Wild Diaries it's in partners, right? Yeah, this will be in partners. So you can find your own partner, or you can just sign up as solo and you'll get partnered with somebody. Very cool. It's kind of like Baby Bingo in a way. Yeah. It's very, very similar vibes, but different. No bingo board. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the combat tasks, but it'll have a lot of random, like it even has like social tasks on there. So it'll have things like skilling, where it might be like, I don't know,
cut 100 magic trees and 100 magic logs in an hour. That's not actually one of them, but to give you an idea of certain stuff, that might be one, or it might be like, I don't know, have 10 people trade you at the GE within 5 minutes. I'm making these ones up. Those are terrible ideas, and they're not on the actual list. But just to give you an idea, it's not just PVM oriented. There'll be some skill stuff there and even some PvP stuff. So yeah, it'll be these sort of events. I think are like, it really highlights why so many people love this game. This weird, 20-year-old game. New World just came out, and we didn't talk about New World at all because, new MMOs come out these days. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even I don't even want to. I don't care to check it out because I'm stuck playing this goddamn game.
Yeah, it's fun. Not going anywhere, that's for sure.
It's the beauty of it too. You can quit for a bit, come back, and really not a whole lot has changed. You don't got to worry about, you don't have to worry about like a whole whack of updates coming out that changes the game, because you can ignore anything that comes out and just keep doing what you want to do.
Sure.
Yeah,
it's cool.
All right, yeah, we went through everything. Oh, I got a twitch.tv/TheDilz. I don't stream that much, but I used to, and sometimes I do randomly. Hoping to do that more in the future. Heartless, do you got anything you wanna shout out?
Nope. Join the Discord.
All right. So yeah, guys, if you want to play some events, you guys want to start doing Magic the Gathering in Discord, come hang out. You know what?
Yeah.
We were talking about it. I have D&D on Saturdays. If that ever changes, we used to watch UFC in the Discord. It was a lot of fun. I stopped watching UFC because I just didn't have anyone to watch it with. But we were watching in the Discord, and I was like, this is awesome. So hopefully bring that back and start playing some board games and stuff too. Okay. Do you have a song of the week for us this week?
Let's do A Farmer's Grind.
Is that the song?
Yeah, yep. A Farmer's Grind. It's from the song of the Farming Guild.
Nice. No county jig, eh?
Nope. Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's nice. It's a decent one.
Yep. This is unlocked in the West Wing of the Farming Guild. Oh boy. Came out January 10th, 2019. And shout out to Julian Surma for putting this track together.
Good one, Julian.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. We're going to have Group Iron Man for the next episode. How fun.
Oh, that's right. Can't wait to talk about that.
There we go. Awesome. All right, guys. Later.
Take care.